on the DAO call for sure. Yeah, I guess it's just us. Are we expecting more people to jump in?
I don't know about expecting. I mean, maybe someone can jump in.
All right. Do we have any agenda for this one? I haven't checked, but I don't know, Rochelle. Do you see if we have any items?
Pulling it up here. No, I still have old stuff on here. I'm gonna move to the previous ones. But no, I don't see anything new.
All right, I think it's better now. We have like we can speak and click on mute instead of the other way around. Then I guess this will just be more of a regular update. We can chat a bit about the DAO and things coming up. I guess we don't have an agenda set, so yeah, there's a lot brewing still, and we're still waiting for the updates to come out. I think a few topics we can cover in this call, just from the top of my head, but we can do a development update, share the progress there, and sort of the short-term roadmap of what we want to release. Then
we can also talk about the hackathon.
Right, another item would be hackathon as well. We have some updates on the hackathon. I think we made quite some progress with planning and partnerships over the last few weeks. Mainly Gabi has been in contact with some parties, so it's good to do an update there. I think it's just good to keep if we're all in the loop of updates and even potential partnerships. It's just good to know. And then proposal-wise, we don't have any proposals out there at the moment, but if there's any ideas for proposals, I think they would be great to just have a quick chat about as well. And yeah, if anyone else has other topics that we want to put sort of on our ad hoc agenda, then please share.
Definitely LAION and the Label Studio project.
Yeah,
I was thinking,
good one.
That Label Studio, it's a pretty interesting tool, and you could use. I was wondering, if it's possible to integrate it with Effect Force.
Yeah, it is. I've been playing around with it a little bit. I've managed to get a simple prototype to render. The difficulty that I'm having at the moment still is inputting values into it and getting values out of it. But I can't get it to render, so I think it should be relatively easy to incorporate it into the force. So I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, really thanks for the hookup with LAION, and I do think this is important. And I'm trying to look at it and try to get something out the door, a little prototype, so that I can showcase it to Chris and hopefully get his feedback on it, and so we can start putting tasks on the force.
Yeah, so LAION is like a connection from DJ, and they want to do an annotation data set on Effect Force, and they want to start with like a trial using the label books. Could you maybe, David, you can maybe give a high-level overview of what their request is, like the topic and the...
Yeah, indeed. So LAION is, their whole mission is, they're an open source data set provider, so they provide data that can be used to train AI models. They're trying to be a non-profit organization that helps stimulate the open source development of all of these AI models, and they need help with data annotation at the moment for an up-and-coming model that they're working on. One of them being OCR. So just optical recognition of text, and they need humans to actually help them go through that process of like annotating the data in order for them to be able to use it. And they want to use a tool called Label Studio that apparently is quite commonly used within the space to do these kinds of tasks.
Nice. It would be really good if we, these types of companies, if we can work with them, like they're all about open and democratic sort of data sets, which is also where we came from. And I'm excited to get these leads. They've mainly been coming from DJ side, so thanks like a ton. I think it's amazing that you create these opportunities. So we'll definitely try everything to integrate and to perform well on this first demo data set.
Yeah, what are we trying to do?
Because we do have I think we can perform really well. We have quite a few workers. Like a lot of them of the workforce we had before are sort of slumbering, or they're taking a look every now and then. But we actually have like 20-30 workers that are really on top of the platform still. And when tasks go on, they deliver high quality work. So we really have that going. So if we kind of come up with high quality requesters as well, that's really gives us the space to grow, because currently main data sets are social media related. Sometimes we have a questionnaire, sometimes we have some other data, but if we have a consistent data set, especially around AI, where data sets are often large and keep going and coming in, that can give a really good foundation for the platform to grow. So there's still a potential. We need to do well on the test. We need to integrate with the label box, which on technical level David made a lot of progress. So I will help you look a bit into the backend and how we can connect it, like make sure that the results come to the right place and that we get the right data in it. But it looks very doable. So excited for this one.
Yeah, in regards to what you mentioned, like for proposals, I think this is something that we should, or rather I would endorse kind of funding the creation of these data sets, because LAION is like, there's little funding. A lot of it is just people provide their own time to do things. And so I think it can be a great way for us to get recognition if we show ourselves as contributing a lot to open source data.
So maybe
absolutely.
Yeah, I like the idea of EFX providing utility and actually creating value somewhere, and later on we can think about how that will affect the network. But during the meantime, we should invest in actually creating a product that is creating value somewhere.
And with Label Studio, I think it's clear that it's open source because people want to do it themselves, because they probably can't afford the big expense of putting it all on, say, Amazon Turk or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder. It's something to look out for. I guess I'll have to look myself, maybe. But yeah, Label Studio, I think integration with that, and then also helping like them build these data sets, I think can get us a lot of good news and kind of confirm that we're an AI project in the crypto space.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, maybe we should think about like incorporating it a bit deeper into the force, instead of like having it a layer on top of that is put then into the template engine, where other people can actually use these existing tools already in order to build out their templates, instead of this kind of being worked into it. But for now, I think this first prototype will just try to do it as quickly as possible to onboard these first couple of tasks.
Yeah, I think for now this will work, and the tool suits our platform well enough. We just need to substitute the feeding and the feeding of tasks and extracting of results. We need to make sure we connect it in the right way. But later on, I think for a lot of tasks, and that's looking at if things scale up a lot, I think we need more, way more like convenient specialized interfaces to interact with tasks, like mobile apps for things that you want to do on the go, and like integrating the SDK inside of Labelbox in the sort of in the more native setup. That could really improve things, where you don't bring your interface to EffectForce, but EffectForce goes inside your interface basically. That in the long run, for long bigger projects, that would be the way to go. But I think for now we have so much flexibility with the template engine that we can make almost anything work, and the workforce is on there anyway. So I think this is kind of perfect for right now to work this way.
Okay.
All right, so that's LAION, good potential requester. Let's hope it goes well, and let's find more of these. It would be great. Like if we can attract people to use EffectForce, that would be great. I helped a friend run some questionnaires also on EffectForce this week, and it was like the results were really good. Like was a lot of responses coming in. The quality was great. It happened like within hours. So like. The people that like the platform is working and people are happy with it. So I think we can really look for more use cases, and like David said, to have a real value, to bring real value to companies. That's where the opportunity is, because when people really like value the work, they will keep using it and it will keep growing. So that should definitely be what we focus on. Maybe we can go on to chat a little bit about proposals that we would like to see coming up. Because DJ just mentioned that you would endorse something like this, and I think I agree. Like I was thinking if we or I would I can volunteer for creating a proposal, but to create like a little budget of EFX to subsidize tasks for. I don't know if we have to say specific requester like LAION, or just we say like we want to reserve this budget of subsidizing tasks for AI related projects, and we can give that basically as a way to ensure high worker payout, because that's sort of mandatory for the quality side, but also to give the requesters really cheap access on the short term for labeling their data. I think that's sort of necessary. So making a proposal for that, first of all, it puts a light on the topic. It frees up tokens for doing this, but it also makes it a topic of attention. So I do like the suggestion that DJ said. I don't know if that was exactly what you meant by it, but
yeah, creating a fund sounds good. Just like the bounty fund, you can just allocate some EFX for a fund to help. Also, quick question: is it LAION or LAION? How do you pronounce it?
I assumed it was LAION because LAI.
AI, right? So AI, LAION.
Yeah. Yeah, well, good question. Like, yeah, it's definitely one of those things that like
LAION, I think.
LAION. Yeah, it sounds about right.
Okay, because that's what I assumed too. Yeah, that would just make this. What you suggested, you would just make things faster. Because I agree. Like at some point, once your prototype is ready, and you want to move on to like having tens of thousands of tasks, I think. Well, he said like in the chat, like he threw out a number like we need like 16 million at some point. So I think if we're self-funding, there's probably a lot of tasks they need done, and as long as we can get recognition for it, like gratitude, I think it could go on for a long time. So I think a fund for it would be great. And yeah, like there. Right now we're still, I guess, we'll be looking for it, but yeah, like I think if we can help LAION first, then maybe other projects will be easier to find as well, and we could help them. And at the very least, I think it'll help us just show that what Effect Network is all about. Because I know, like, I still am salty about CoinGecko getting rid of our label that we're not an AI associated project. So this will only just underline it for everyone.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I like that. And also for the funds, maybe we could even label this as, we have our dev fund, right? Maybe we can touch on the dev fund in a little bit, because I would like to discuss that a little bit as well. But if we have like we could even call it the AI fund, and we give it like a purpose, like to fund the development of open AI data sets, and we give some specification or requirements for projects that can use it. Maybe we can source some funds to that over the coming cycles, or start small and then see how it goes. But we could sort of create a page for that, and like we could say there's this much available for projects that want to source high quality data sets, and we can send a message to LAION, we can send a message to Hivebright, to the project, what's it called? Hive Mapper, sorry. Hivebright is another project. Hive Mapper. Like to tell them, look, we have this is available for creation of data sets. They might want to tap into that for some trials or for some other reasons. We can maybe market this in several communities. Like there's a lot happening around LLMs and LoRa's and people that are sort of sourcing that require data sets to fine tune their LoRa's are like small fine tunings of models. There's a whole community around it, so perhaps that can bring us that can bring some attention to our platform for sourcing data. If we make that more like a general pool.
Yeah, as long
I
as
think that
they provide recognition for helping them build a data set, I think it's worth paying for ourselves.
Yeah, indeed.
We could call it AI pool, no? AI. We have the developer pool. Do we call it pool? Fund? The AI fund. The Effect Network AI fund.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, something in that direction. But indeed, like that's something that we've identified like as a problem, that just there aren't enough tasks being put on the platform, and if we can have a steady stream of tasks, and we can pay for it, like for the coming short to midterm, that should really help drive attention to us in one form or another, and hopefully that can lead to something much more fruitful, where like we can get requesters.
Yeah, and the AI fund can really put the spotlight a bit back on the AI, like on the AI
Case.
origin and the AI essence that we have as a project, because that's indeed being overlooked, and it's like, yeah, we need to make sure we can restore the kernel of the core of the project. So this can really help there. And also, of course, more tasks is always should be the top agenda. I've been taking a close look lately on the collected fees in the platform. These are, you can see it, and in the new dashboard it will be more visualized, so you can see how many fees have been collected, which are 10% of tasks paid during a cycle. And we have like this baseline of fees being collected, and it's going up slowly, but it's getting. It keeps getting more and more, so it's nothing to get really excited about yet, but it is like growing, and every time we get something on board that does a few tasks, you can see the collected fees going up, and it's kind of motivating to see, because if we keep up growth, and I can really see how one or two like bigger requesters that are, or bigger, like even medium sized, or trials that we do, they really boost that number. And I think putting that number on the front page and making sure we pay attention to it, and we show like the track from setting up a template, posting tasks, creating a data set. If a few people get the hang of it, it really illustrates like how this product functions. I think we've started a lot with showing and telling and understanding how it works, but it's becoming more and more clear now. So when we talk with people and when we show projects how it works, especially in the Web3 space, this can, I think, really make the difference to get that number out there. And it's also motivating, of course, for the DAO, because I think we can really, if we scale up tasks, we will soon get to a point where task rewards can like be close to maybe half of what we're currently from the rewards we're getting from like recycles. At the moment, we recycle nearly the maximum amount we can recycle most of the time. That the what is it, like 30% or something of the leftovers that go back to the fees. Sort of we're maximizing that amount in most cycles. I think we can get to that number at some point soon. If we scale up tasks, we can get to that number just with general task rewards, and that's sort of a main goal, of course. If we get there, we can really start thinking about scaling down at 30% and making task rewards just. I mean, if it scales up and once that starts rolling, I mean, if you get a little bit of taste for it, it's quite easy to imagine that getting larger. It would be amazing if we can make that like the substantial amount of EFX and not needing that 30% anymore. But anyways, that's sort of that was just a little train of thought on getting more tasks on there and sort of seeing a little positive side in. Even though things have been low, we have that consistency and there are fees coming in. So it's just a matter of scaling it up.
Yeah.
Basically,
so one proposal, all right. I think we can share a draft pretty soon, like today, tomorrow, about setting up this AI fund. Technically, I think we should just make it similar to the dev fund, as that we share the keys between a few key people in the DAO and clearly state the intention of that pool. And I think then if anyone is has concerns or is against it, we don't have many people here. Ace and Lahom, if you want to speak, feel free to raise the hand, or Rochelle. What are your thoughts, Rochelle, on this idea?
I'm all for it. It's exactly what we need. And I like how you touched on before that we should have Effect Network be like able to be embedded within other people's projects. You know? Like they don't have to specifically use us, they can make us part of their whole, system, like internally. That's just the best way, I think, for us.
Hi guys, I really appreciate what you said the last 15 minutes. On my agenda, I personally have 2 keynotes for a couple of weeks now, and there's a human judgments data and crafted examples data, which is human feedback on AI behavior, which is exactly what you said, a database for the promising AI tools in the future. So I'm really looking forward if X, formerly known as Effect.ai, is capable of bringing some data to the AI masses, and really appreciate, and I'm really 100% pro this constitution or this line of going.
Nice, happy to hear that.
We should think about like how to do community outreach. I think it could be a good marketing point as well, and try to
I mean,
get the word out there. Like
for LAION, we just have to impress them. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, that's a good point. If we can impress LAION, I think we can impress a lot of other people as well.
Yeah, I mean, LAION's pretty big. Or rather, like they are recognized, like the people know of them in the AI space. Like actually, in fact, when I was doing my NFT project, the other model I used is a LAION model. Instead of OpenAI, it's a LAION image recognition model. So I mean, they're pretty big. So if we can be recognized as helping them build out models and stuff like that, I think that would be a big deal.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, no, definitely. I know them as well. I know them. Like their name is, and like it's quite well known. I'm of course also in the space, but it's a pretty prestigious and good company to work with. Nice. All right, I like that one. That's a great one.
But budget-wise, I think we have to. Like we'll have to see how much budget it will take, because I mean, I think like throwing numbers off top of my head, like I don't think people will mind 100,000 EFX every cycle, but if, for example, we need much more than that, and we may need it to, like, for example, I think the initial set he wanted was like, oh, I need to check it, like 16K.
I remember it being 1500 for the first go,
Yeah.
and if it goes well, he said 100,000.
Yeah, 100,000. So, well, 1,500 is no problem at all. 100,000, let's say it takes like five repetitions. Is that like good for one?
Yeah, this is a tricky part. We need to engineer it and test it out, but I feel more like I feel you get more value at doing low repetitions, but making sure people are like well trained and supervised than doing a lot of repetitions, because Rochelle is the professional in this thing, but I think especially if it's more of a precision task where it won't be extremely easy to compare results or something, I feel training and supervising and doing maybe 2 repetitions is sort of the optimum budget-wise way to do it. It really depends on the task. So the engineering and Rochelle's input after she's seen the task. I don't think she's seen them yet, but if she takes a look and but anyways, for the budget, it's important. We need to figure out if you go for 5 repetitions, these numbers go up quite quickly on how much it costs.
Yeah, I don't know how the task itself will cost either. Like, I'm just ballparking 1 EFX for simplicity, but yeah, like if it's like 500,000 for the 100,000 set, I think that's totally doable. Though, like, the problem is, like, once we get past like 500,000, because you know the way the treasury works, any EFX we introduce is basically inflationary, right? So if we're like, well, I guess because we limit ourselves to 300 per cycle anyway, as long as we keep it to that limit, it's not a big deal. Yeah, like just hopefully the 100,000 set is good enough to get us traction, so we can go towards like working on the 16 million. But we wouldn't be able to do the 16 million right away, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
absolutely. Indeed. It's I don't think we've ever dealt like with these kinds of scales before, and like having to deal with the economics of like dealing with such a scale. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Like we'll probably have to think about other solutions, probably being much more strict about task validation instead of using repetitions in order to clear out, people who are trying to spam the tasks. But yeah, it'll be an interesting problem, and when we get to that point.
But 100,000 tasks we can do. Like, we've done that scale, and we know sort of there's complications, but we can handle that. And doing millions of tasks doesn't mean we would need like, and also depends if we had the speed on that 100,000. But if we might need like really good coordination between workers, like to have that on a higher scale. But yeah, I think not too worried about achieving those results. I think we can do it if we
Yeah, I think we can do it. How I would approach it would be like multi-tiered. So, like, first I would need to have like a smaller sample of the data set just to look to see what it is, the results we're wanting. Figure out the best way to design the tasks just for the beginning. And then it would take a little bit of time looking at the initial results to identify like some higher level quality workers, because you could start out in the beginning with some repetitions, but then once you identify like workers who are really uniquely skilled for it, then your repetitions can go down, and it's just constantly watching the workforce to identify, you know, the better workers for it, and then giving more tasks towards them, still having a pool open for like the entry workers. But your repetitions can go down and you can get more precise. So it's not just about repetitions for validation. I mean, if you had unlimited budget, you could, you know, set 3 reps to one task and then just only take what there's a consensus for. But even then, you still have to monitor it a little bit. But if you kind of roll it out in different tiers and stuff, that's what goes into managing a custom workforce, and that is where you can really stretch your funds. So it's a little prep work, but we can definitely do it quickly.
Yeah, that's what that guy was talking about. I think he wanted that initial set pretty soon, but so hopefully, yeah, I think I'm just kind of repeating myself. Hopefully we can make that guy happy with LAION.
Oh, we definitely can. We definitely can.
And I think in the next quarter or two, we'll need to see if we want to renew the liquidity pool bonus. So yeah, we'll see how things are going, because that's in November when the year ends. So we'll see how things are going, budget-wise. But yeah, I think the AI budget is important for just public recognition of our project and what it's doing.
I couldn't hear.
Okay, do you hear me?
Yes, now I do. What just happened? Okay, I'm good. I'm not lost anymore. It just got super quiet all of a sudden.
Yeah, same here. What about you, David and Jesse?
I wonder if they're having audio problems. Oh, they'll pop back up. There we are.
Yeah, how about now?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah, indeed. Like, yeah, we've been having issues as well, just like you.
We couldn't hear anyone, and then we couldn't hear Rochelle speaking, and then we were talking loads, but no one could hear us. So I feel a bit stupid now. Good. Are we back? I can hear you guys. You can hear us?
Yeah.
All right.
I guess if there aren't any other proposals in mind that we can talk about, one interesting one would be then the hackathon update.
I had one other proposal that I wanted to discuss. Maybe quickly, we covered it in the last one. I would like to switch from cycle budgets to like having every second some EFX being sent to the DAO. This will make it easier, like I said before, to make it easier to do the cycle changes, but also I think it just makes more sense. It will give a more clear picture of how much EFX is being released. And it will enable us to do some other cool things later on, but it will basically mean that from the treasury we will have every second a little bit of EFX streaming to the DAO account that we can use. And there's basically two complications. One is that we need to figure out a new way to send the 30% to the DAO fee pool. There's a few ideas for that. And the second complication is that we will no longer have any like unused funding to send back to the treasury. So it's a sort of simple change. We actually remove some of this cycle budget logic from the smart contract, and we add a little. I've already worked on this to add a little token streaming smart contract that just streams a certain amount of tokens per second to the DAO. And yeah, for the second point that we no longer recycle things back to the treasury, I think the best way to sort of deal with it is, and I think it makes more sense and it's more clean and beautiful to do it this way, when we just burn a certain amount of tokens every now and then when we feel there's a lot in the budget. We once had a proposal to burn a certain amount of tokens, but if the DAO has a lot of tokens in circulation and we have so much in the wallet, there's not much happening, having someone propose to burn a certain amount would basically achieve the same. Or instead of burning, we could decide to send them back to the treasury, meaning out of circulation, which almost is like burning, but they could be reused later. And then for sending it to the people, that's kind of that's a discussion worth having as well. How do we keep adding tokens to the people? We can definitely just mimic what we're doing now by sending an amount to the people every cycle in a transaction that constitutes to the amount we would expect now. And then we will be way more flexible and choosing different schemes later on.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Strictly speaking, couldn't you do the 30% could be done? Or actually, no, it can't. Yeah, I was thinking just a constant amount, and we could judge based on it just be like a ATP that sends it to the people.
Yeah, we can just have an ATP sending it to the people every cycle. Like we have this process, like when a new cycle starts, we can just transfer an amount. We can even do a fixed amount, which I think is simpler and nicer, maybe, just to send a fixed amount. Is it alternative? Like there's a few alternatives to how to send them instead of the 30%, which I feel is a slightly awkward measure.
Yeah,
to have.
Well, yeah, the 30%, I think, wasn't it the first proposal? Or
it was the very first one.
First cycle?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's definitely kind of old. I think people do want to be compensated for the work they put in evaluating proposals. So definitely, I think, as you said, eventually we may get to a point where we don't need. In some ways, it's like a subsidy to encourage the work done and evaluating proposals that won't be necessary once we have more fees coming in. So yeah, I think with this method, we can eventually judge ourselves to the point where we're thinking we don't even need to do this.
Yeah,
but I'm guessing this is also part of a push to help with the automation of the cycles, that it requires less manual actions in order to get every cycle started again.
Yeah, there's more reasons to it, but one of them is that. Yeah, so the current, having that budget come up every 2 weeks is slightly, yeah, it's a manual thing that has to happen, that has been happening for 2 years now, over 2 years, and it's just, yeah, and it's just not pretty. It doesn't really fit. I feel it doesn't feel right. Having token stream every second means that we don't have to wait. Like the DAO should just have its wallet that it can spend, and it should be able to work with that. I think that emptying it completely again every cycle and then waiting for a new cycle to come in again, it just feels like, and there's so much the mental model of understanding what's happening. It's just more complicated when you just come in. Even I sometimes wrapping my head around it after doing this for over 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
it's just I think we need a way more clean model, and just seeing every second some tokens chipping in to the DAO's wallet. That's the wallet of the DAO. That's what we can use in proposals to spend. It shouldn't be related to every 2 weeks. Like the 2 weeks is to have the proposals and to give us time to vote. So I think that should stay. But this funding coming free every 2 weeks, I feel it makes way more sense to just see that wallet there. We have this much left. Make decisions based on that. And it just goes up every second as it's basically slowly coming into circulation.
Yeah.
It will also help with like fixing our total supply on token sites like CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, as we can have that fixed release rate.
Yeah. How will it affect funding available for the proposals?
Well, there will be situations where there's way more funding available than 326,000 EFX, because if we don't spend anything for 2 cycles and we don't put any proposals out there to burn or to burn any tokens, then basically the funding will add up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like for example, this cycle we had no proposals, but we would accumulate like how much was it, 300,000 EFX?
Yeah. 326,000 would have been accumulated this cycle as funding for the DAO. I do suggest, because it will add up now, that we lower the release rate, so we don't say that a full cycle adds up to 326,000, because I think we have some graphs on, like, initially we would have 15 years of I think of I may be saying this wrong. I need to look at the graphs again, but we had some graphs predicting how long we can last with the tokens at this release rate per cycle. We could lower that, as right now tokens will stack up and we only recycle by an ATP if necessary. So
yeah,
I think we should lower it. What do you think, DJ? If we would like lower it to say to 2/3 of the current rate or something?
I don't know if it really matters if it's lowered or not, because we can just change it anytime, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not like it's like contractually set. I just prefer like maybe a flat number instead of like trying to number specifically 326. Just make it 300,000 flat.
Yeah, and this will be a number not per second, but we can like
I guess
calculate
that's true.
that rate.
Like I estimate 300,000 per 2 weeks cycle.
Yeah.
So whatever that is in the seconds.
True. Yeah.
Is there a specific reason why it should be 300,000?
Only because it's just what we've been using this whole time, and
yeah.
Okay.
We may have like big projects in the future where we need to allocate a big amount of EFX, and well, for example, we have that liquidity pool stuff, which is like worth like 1 point something million. How much was it?
Yeah.
And I don't know, like there will probably be debate if we want to do another year of it, but it basically, the way I see it is the DAO is not very spend thrifty from what I experienced. So I'm not too worried if a lot of EFX is accumulated into the DAO account. Like for me, I think we only will spend it if we think it's valuable to spend it. So I guess I don't see a reason to kind of limit it because I believe the DAO is responsible enough not to like be frivolous with it.
I agree. Yeah.
I also like the idea of trying to burn the excessive tokens. I do think that might be a good strategy for now, until we decide maybe like we should consider something else.
Yeah, I think it's way more clear. The burning, DJ proposed it a while back, like a long time ago. Burning makes more, like what we're doing with sending tokens back to Treasury, taking them out of circulation, just in the Web3 space, in the crypto world. To take tokens out of circulation, you burn them. That's the mechanic to do that, and it's a bit yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't use that, and it makes people better understand it better. It is the purpose of if we feel like there's too much liquid tokens in there to burn them, it feels just it just makes sense. That's why you do it. So it's the right mechanic, like the right tool for the job.
Yeah.
But anyways, this won't be like, I don't want to make it a too radical of a proposal, so I will try to keep things sort of the same in this proposal, except for tokens being released gradually and no longer sending them back automatically to the cycle. And then from there we can take it step by step. And this will just be a proposal, so if there's like people wanting to have more discussions about it, then we can always like take a bit longer for it.
Yeah.
Or not even change, right? It's a proposal, it's what it's for. So I just wanted to throw it out there, and I'll write up my thoughts, and I think that will get it rolling.
Yeah, I think the only thing that people should be aware of that will change is that we'll have to explicitly pay ourselves for the work we do, evaluating proposals.
Yeah.
But it was originally done explicitly with the first proposal, right? So I think it's just clear, and it makes it easy to change in the future once ideally there's more throughput on the network.
Yeah. Another thing we could implement, which on one side I don't like it because it might sound complicated, but if we would say the minimum fee every cycle to Guardians is 120,000 EFX. I'm just saying something. We just ensure that it's the minimum, but then we look at how much came in from tasks, because now we have that visualized, we know what's coming in. So we sort of subtract what came in from tasks, and then whatever is missing gets added to the fee pool. Yeah, I was thinking about that model for a bit, because I think it makes sense as we just put it on a minimum, but I'm confident that at some point soon we already these tasks will start, what we get from tasks will start growing, so it just means that that amount will go less and less and disappear, because when the task's way more than 120,000 a cycle, we don't need to subsidize that minimum Guardian distribution anymore for performing our duties to vote and consider and be here, right?
Yeah, I think that sounds good, though maybe tedious unless you can automate that.
Yeah, that means we need to write a script to do that, but it's the same tedious as it's tedious now. So in that sense, it might be a nicer step to the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, in some sense, indeed, like it's already tedious. Like we are kind of already, you're already taking meeting notes, Alex. So in that sense, we do kind of have a process, and we can rely on that process in order to look back on it and see, okay, like who have been fulfilling their duties, who haven't, and then based off of that data, we can decide, okay, maybe, for example, this Guardian shouldn't be allowed anymore. But I do think it's an interesting idea, but I do think it also requires more consideration as well. But I do like the idea in the sense of, it does stimulate you to take your tasks as a high guardian more seriously.
Do you guys think I should put this out in a proposal for this cycle, and we can read on it and like push it forward, or would it be better to just share like a written text in Discord so we can have one more cycle to consider and then post the proposal? What do you feel is the best process?
Well, when will you be working on it?
Like the implementation wise, that would be if I would write a proposal tomorrow, it would be in the next cycle, and then by the end of that cycle, this would be published.
I
think you should go ahead and do it. I don't see, as long as we don't really change functionally how much is distributed every cycle too much, I don't think people have an issue with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling more for waiting one cycle, but I don't know. I also like the idea of being a bit more, having a bit more velocity and pivoting a bit more, and like trying something new instead of waiting one more cycle in order to implement something. I and this could get the ball rolling. So in that sense, yeah, let's go for it. Yeah.
All right, I'll write it up, and if I feel if I feel confident tomorrow, then I'll publish it in the cycle. I think to push it is sometimes it's good, because when we're coming out with the dashboard update, it's nice if this is like embedded there, and we can already know with a bit certainty that it's gonna work in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like that to be live before the dashboard update. That way, we show it constantly coming in. We don't have to mess with the dashboard again.
Because it's gonna be a new feeling for people when they use the new dashboard. If this mechanic is in there, then it will just be less like, it will just feel it. Like, yeah, the dashboard has been there for so long. If you change it now and it's gonna be a bit different, it's nice if the new mechanic is there. So it's actually part of the new experience.
David, Jesse,
to
do you
understand
have
the new mechanic.
the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I think this can be done.
No, I mean like right now, because I know you wanted to talk about the hackathon, but it's 11. Hopefully that's
Oof, yeah. The time flew by. we don't have time. Maybe we have to keep it really quick, the hackathon update, and then we have to jump off.
Yeah, indeed. Like, we can just keep it brief then. So quickly about the hackathon, we have a third partner that also wants to join us. The second partner that will be joining us will be Meta Launch. They will be evaluating the business cases of the hackathon proposals as well, and they will also be contributing to the prize pool for the hackathon. But yeah, we're excited to announce the third participant soon.
It's not yet solid enough to discuss.
No,
it?
Not yet. There's still some details that need to be fleshed out, and we're aiming to do this hackathon then at the beginning of August.
Okay.
But yeah, like those are then the major updates, and we still need to do some work then on the SDK. Jesse has implemented a couple of new features for the smart contract in order to optimize the whole reservation flow, and that needs to be reflected back into the SDK. Some of the documentation needs to be rewritten, and then I think we'll be ready for the hackathon.
Sounds great.
Yeah, but so we'll be doing it on Dora Hacks. But yeah, indeed, we still need to finalize how much the prize pool will be this time around as well. We're not sure yet how big that's gonna be.
Yeah, the prize pool is one we want to give an indication of that soon, and that's if we have that on paper, we will share like that document with everyone in the DAO, so we can make this more of a collaborative part. But we're hoping the two partners can contribute a part to the prize pool, and yeah, we need to make the prize pool right. We need to what's the goal of the hackathon? What do we want to achieve? Looking ahead, if we're going to make this a recurring hackathon, we need to make it sustainable. So we need to make sure participants are there, the prices are high enough that they're really motivated to work hard and to make cool products. We also need to make sure it's sustainable for later on, and that the prize pool is comfortable for partners to join in as well. So yeah, we're thinking about a prize pool of like significantly less than the last one, because the last one I think was really, really big. We got a lot out of it, right? It's hard to really know what would have happened with smaller prize pools, but if we're going to do a few a year, I think we that's not sustainable to have a prize pool like we had last time. So it will probably be a few $1,000s each for that we put in. Maybe the exact number we don't know yet, but we're talking with the partners and seeing like what are they going to put in. I'm really feeling strongly to not put in any EFX tokens, to make it just pure fiat based, or stablecoin based, because the last time the EFX tokens it didn't really work as a motivator for participants to put on tasks. It actually was quite like they were the tokens were sold out quite quickly. I feel like they just participants were just looking for USDC and they weren't too interested in the token, which in the end then that's good for no one if it doesn't end up being used for something like tasks. So we have a few like those points still on the table, but that's just sort of the work in progress part. Once it finalizes and we know more about that third partner, or the second partner, then we'll share the document with everyone.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, we'll see how much. I guess the closer we'll get, the more we'll figure out the prize pool. Yeah, it's to be expected that some EFX will be sold by the winners, so we don't want to make it too much, otherwise it will be like a very... for the DAOs particularly, all EFX we allocate from the treasury is inflationary, so we don't want to make it too much. Yeah. But we do want it. We can still do a little bit to it, because it's kind of like government spending. You can print a little bit of money to build roads, infrastructure. That stuff is really useful, and there's a benefit to it. But you don't want to just give everyone money. That just makes everything more expensive and lowers your value. So
yeah, and last time I want the EFX to be sort of if we give people EFX, that they at least value some of the utility of it, instead of if they just want USDC and not EFX, they will just sell it for USDC, and it's just that's not then it doesn't make sense to give them a utility if that's there. But maybe if we can think of a way where we really make I think what would be great if we can give them budget to spend on the platform to do tasks. We can give them a budget and that would be a great case. I would love to give them, say, a bunch of EFX that they can do quite a large data set freely on the platform, because they have that on there, right? They can extract value. We can for the DAO it makes sense because it's in the ecosystem and it's being utilized. The token is being utilized for what it's made for. So that would be great. So maybe we can think of a way where it's EFX, they get USDC prize money, it's in their wallet, and apparently looking at last time, that's what everyone was looking for. But then the EFX is really to utilize the platform more. I think then that would make sense. So maybe there's a way to do it. I just haven't really found it yet.
If we actually controlled the EFX, it would be easy to use some kind of credit system. But indeed, if we just give them via virtual EFX, they could still very easily just pull it out.
But we could make a sort of a proxy contract where they have that VEFX, but it can only be used for publishing batches. In a smart contract, that's sort of not too hard to accomplish. Maybe that's worth setting up. We could give, even for stuff like an AI fund or something, we could have funds that are only available for publishing batches. That's sort of cool. Okay. I'm gonna write this down. Maybe that's gonna work. But.
Yeah. So the part of the prize pool would be USDC and then EFX that can be used on create campaigns and create batches.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, if that works, right? It's literally, it just came to mind now that we could actually make that maybe to give people platform allowance, which means they get an EFX allocation that can only be used for publishing batches.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do have to run. It's almost 10 past. We have.
Yeah. 10 past 6.
Yeah, the only other thing I could offer is if the DAO wanted to fundraise as well, I wonder if through ATP, a small amount can be used to exchange for EOS every cycle. Something not big enough to make an impact, but slowly, every cycle, it will accumulate a fund.
Yeah, I like that. Or even US a stablecoin.
Yeah, or EOS. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for having the DAO hold stablecoin instead of only EFX.
we could do this with an ATP, right? Someone would have to provide that liquidity, so someone would basically create an ATP and buy a certain amount,
No,
or we
I
could
was
actually
thinking
do
like
it.
DeFi box, just like a because we execute it at an arbitrary time, right? The ATP.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about being front run. So if we just set like, you know, exchange X amount of EFX for a small amount, say 250 EOS every cycle, that will be enough that it won't significantly impact anything too much, but also help build up an EOS. And then later on, we can do the same for the EOS to USDT, which has millions like in liquidity, so I don't think we can even be front run there. So that would be like the suggestion.
Yeah. It's only that DeFi box isn't open source, so I wouldn't even know how to interact with their contract. I will ask them. I'm in a group with them. I'll just ask if that's something we can do. But not being open source with Uniswap or something, I know we could do it. With DeFi box, I'm just not sure how that would work. So I will ask them in Telegram.
I think it's possible. It's just
But-
like you have to put it in the notes. I mean, in the memo.
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
sort of-
indeed. I also think it's just a transaction that you have to make.
You just send tokens. That's it. You cannot give limits, or you cannot give slippage or anything.
I'm not sure about the details, but I'll take a look. I don't know, I feel more for like setting up a proposal that sets up a budget, saying that we want, for example, 5,000 US dollars in stablecoins or EOS, and then try to build that up slowly then over the coming periods, instead of doing that indefinitely for the coming cycles.
I feel a lot for having ATPs where individuals basically provide liquidity in the form of EOS buying up tokens, and you take a risk because you have to cycle there, so you take some risk on basically the price level. So you would get you need to get like a better price than market price just to comfort the risk. I think that can be a nice economic model there.
So it would be like a futures.
Yeah. There's some, like, it's a little DeFi risk involved, so you would be able to make, and then the DAO can judge if it's worth it or not. Maybe it's not. We do have to run. I'm sorry, but we have to.
Yeah, we can
we have to go.
discuss this next DAO call, because it's just an idea I had to accumulate other coins that we can use for prize pools.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great idea. I like it. I would love to talk more about this topic. Definitely we put it on the agenda for the next one, and yeah, I got some ideas about it, but we're running out of time, and let's pick it up next time.
Bye, David. Bye, Jesse.
Hey,
Thanks,
yeah,
Alex.
thank you very much,
Thanks,
everybody. Have a good
everyone.
one.
Bye.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
All right. So I think we covered everything. So I'm gonna end the video.